watching ABC 17 News at 9 in high definition on Fox 22, KQFX.
Well, tonight, a number of suspects tied to gang-related shootings are still on Columbia streets.
Police say it's difficult to put every gang member in jail, and even victims are not always willing to talk with police.
Last month's murder of a Columbia teenager highlighted the city's growing gang problem. Now police, the school district, and the community are making an effort to go after that problem.
ABC 17's Lauren Goris questions city leaders on whether those efforts will really work.
The FBI is working with Columbia Police to crack down on the city's gangs. And if history repeats itself, we'll see a number of wanted suspects land in jail because of it. Police are after 3 active gangs, and that includes Hollister Boys, Squad Up, and Young Money, who they say is the most powerful. Violence from all 3 of these gangs is spilling into Columbia schools and the community. Leaders admit there is more they could do, but aren't. And the extra effort may not work anyway.
Silence the violence! Silence the violence!
Everybody should be afraid. I'm afraid of losing family members, my kids, all of it.
I don't want to see my next best friend die.
Columbia teen Dorothy Owens joins dozens of other students, all terrified of losing another classmate. 2 teens have already been gunned down this year. Police link at least one of those murders to gang activity.
We are working very hard right now, targeting some of these known gang members and some of the people that we know are instigating and are some of the more violent.
Detective John Logan with CPD's Major Crimes Unit knows what needs to happen first.
I'm a big believer in the gang sweeps.
That's because history shows gang sweeps work. Violent crimes in 2007 prompted police to target members of the Cutthroat Gang. A total of 16 suspects were later indicted on federal charges. Each received 3 to 24 years in prison. As a result, the Cutthroat Gang broke down. And in 2010, a murder at this South Columbia break time broke up another violent gang, Louis Bound. 8 men were charged in the crime. All but 1 is still in prison, so the gang essentially disappeared. Now the focus shifts to stopping the 3 remaining gangs.
I can't put a time frame on it, but there will come a time when you'll hear of some of the efforts that we've been doing.
Logan won't spell out the specifics, but tells me officers are trying to identify gang members through intensive interviews.
It's through talking to them. It's looking through Facebook and other social media sites.
Police are working one-on-one with Columbia schools. Rivalries often start or extend to the hallways. Rockbridge High School went on lockdown last month after a student received a threatening text message. It reportedly mentioned retaliation following the murder of 17-year-old Brian Rankin. Now, CPS Superintendent Chris Belcher tells me that schools are more likely to go on lockdown right now because of the recent spike in violence.
Decisions that are made become life and death decisions. If you hear a gunshot, we lock down.
Columbia schools have locked down 6 times since the start of this school year. It makes sense. A number of this year's more than 30 shootings happened within blocks of school buildings.
Do people at your school ever feel unsafe or concerned for their safety?
Yeah.
Like,
That's why a lot of people actually have stopped going to parties and stuff like that because they're scared of what might happen.
We know if something's happened on the weekend that we put extra security or extra people in a building that we think might have something from the weekend drag into the building.
The effort is certainly there, but there's no clear solution to protecting students.
Do you think enough is being done on behalf of yourself and the district to try to combat this violence?
No, I think we're doing what we can with the resources we have. I would certainly like to do more.
The district has cut 5 school resource officers because of a tight budget. Belcher admits to me this does impact student safety.
In the last 4 years, we've drained so many resources from classrooms and other programs that those tend to get priority, but safety has to be brought into there as well.
A number of efforts kicked off within the past month, including this march in Columbia. All of it's aimed at stopping future gangs. Even so, Detective Logan tells me it's unclear whether the efforts will even work.
How do we prevent more of the gangs from forming?
You know, that's a good question, and I think that's a question law enforcement has been asking for years and years and years.
And for years to come, Dorothy Owens hopes she won't have to attend another best friend's funeral.
I'm tired of, seeing all these kids getting shot.
I questioned police and the school district on whether there are plans to increase manpower. Officers will continue using the feds as a means to make up for few resources, and CPS is working to hire back 2 more school resource officers. Now, I did ask about potential plans for something more drastic, like metal detectors. Belcher said that is not something they're even considering. He doesn't want to violate the civil rights of all students. Back to you.
All right, thanks a lot, Lauren. Columbia police arrested nearly a dozen people during a gang sweep last year.
Now, 6 of those suspects were associated with gang activity. Only a few are still in jail. That's why getting the feds involved is so critical. Then sentences are often longer with smaller chance of parole.